Alright guys, today we're going to be reacting to German culture shocks as an American exchange student. Thank you so much for the support. This is one of those videos that were just in my feeds. Let's see what's going on here. Make sure you like to subscribe. We're just going to simply jump in. We're heading to 10,000 subscribers, so be part of the journey. Let's jump in.
Hey, welcome everyone. I'm Montana. I'm studying abroad in Germany. If you haven't seen any of my other videos, you should go watch those. But today I'm going to be talking about 15 or so differences that I've noticed in Germany and the biggest culture shocks that I've experienced so far. I'm going to start off with some of the less controversial differences, and then towards the end I'm going to talk more about the personality and social differences that I've noticed here. And so I have a list on my phone. If I'm looking down, that's why. The first culture shock that I have about living in Germany is that on Sundays everything here is closed, with the exception of cafes, and then but pretty much just cafes and some restaurants are open on Sundays. But grocery stores are closed, the mall's closed, everything's closed. In general, it's closed on Sundays in Germany.
Almost everything.
Because it's supposed to be a family day and you're supposed to relax, and also is a day of religion. People are still religious, but they don't necessarily go to church every Sunday. The second culture shock, this isn't so much a culture shock, it's just something different, is that a lot of people in Germany drive stick shift or manual, so when it's when the car isn't on automatic, and so the stoplights here, they turn yellow before they turn green again. Like in the US, it's just red.
That is actually very interesting. So they go from red, yellow, and then green. Huh. Interesting. That's very interesting.
And then it'll turn green. But here it goes, when something's red, it'll turn to yellow and then green, because I think that you need that time to start up your car.
Like because you're driving stick, so you need a little bit of that manual, wiggling to it. So it makes sense.
I'm not really sure. I don't know how to drive stick shift, but I can't drive here anyway. My next
And in that same topic, isn't that create more responsible drivers? There has to be a stat on that. You have to be more focused on how you're driving.
culture shock, while we're on the topic of cars, is that gas here is so expensive. And I use public transportation, the bus system, to get to school and basically to get to wherever I needed. But gas here, I didn't realize how expensive it was, because first off, it's in euros, but then second off, it's in liters, and we use gallons in the US. But one time I was like curious to figure out how much it actually is, and it's like $5.30 a gallon here in Germany.
Wow.
And I know that in the US we complain when it reaches close to $3 a gallon, and if there's like a
this was when this video was posted 4 years ago. Okay, so it is kind of expensive right now, so it is kind of expensive, so that's interesting.
cent difference or a 10-cent difference, then we'll drive to another gas station. Another thing that is crazy is there's no ice. Like, I know that this was in the previous video, but I just have to address it again, because there's no ice in pretty much any of the drinks unless you ask for it, and when you ask for it you look weird. It's just something that you have to get used to here in Germany. And for example, at the McDonald's especially, everyone here loves McDonald's, but when you get a soda, first off, it's super expensive. Second off, it's like this big. Their large is the size of an American small. And that just goes to show how unhealthy we are in the US.
Yeah,
but
true.
They don't put ice in the drink, in the sodas, and I guess it's because you're paying for the soda, and if you put in ice, then you'd really be getting no soda. But
that's like a
you
point.
definitely have to get used to that, because it's not that the soda's warm, it's just not like ice cold like in the US. Another thing about this style here is that every single girl in Germany has a middle part. And it's not like this is a big culture shock, but I honestly was sitting on the bus looking at all of the girls going into school, and every single girl had a middle part. and I know I say this and there are plenty of German girls who don't have middle parts, but that I never knew that. I guess it's a very European or a very German
Middle
style
part.
thing.
What? What would she say? Middle part? What?
A very European or a very German style of German girls who don't have middle parts, but that I never knew that. I guess it's a very European or a very German style thing, but personally, I cannot put my hair in a middle part.
Oh, let me like here.
It doesn't go.
So like this. So they all have this middle part like this.
So I can't take on that German trend. These small differences that I've noticed here that is not like in the US is that when people sign their name, like a signature, it's normally just the last name. So like everyone in the family would have the same, not the same signature, but they would all sign their last name. Versus in the US, we sign normally first and last name. Another difference for sure is the like cafe and drinking culture. Drinking culture itself is also different here, but I'm specifically going to talk about cafe culture because people here just love going to cafes, and I love this. It's so fun. You just go to a cafe, get your tea or your coffee,
a little computer,
friends, and drink your coffee. Or every Sunday, my host family and I, we go to a cafe. And just in the US, we have Starbucks, but at Starbucks you get your coffee and you go, and or there's like a drive-through line at Starbucks.
No, well, I mean we have a lot of local cafes, right? Where you sit down, you open your computer. I mean, Joe, man, she's from Montana. Man, Montana, I'm telling you something, folks. Montana's in the middle of nowhere. So that might be something. But usually in the United States, we do have small cafes. If you're in downtown, you're going to have a bunch of them. I don't know in the countryside. I might have to put this into consideration. Maybe the countryside, you might not have that many. But if you're in the city, they're everywhere.
So we don't have this culture where you sit down and you just sip tea or sip coffee and talk with another person. That's a very European thing, I think. And there are definitely some places in the United States that are trying to make this a culture, but it's just definitely not as popular. Now I'm gonna talk about the more personality traits that have been a shock to me. And the first being that Germans are a lot more aware of their security and their privacy, especially when it comes, I just said especially really weird, especially when it comes to online privacy. Whenever you want to take a picture of someone or a group, or especially when I'm filming these YouTube videos, I have to ask if it's okay, if that person wants to be in the photo or if they want to be in the video, because just in general they're really protective of what about them goes online, and that's really responsible. Especially in the US, we've seen all these scandals where people have photos released online and then their careers damaged, or it's very irresponsible what they're putting on social media. Culture of being cautious about what goes online is much more prevalent in Germany, and also just in general not wanting to be in pictures or videos is much more common. Like in Bad Laspa, when we were filming, a lot of times the teamers and teachers would just say like, no, I don't want to be in the picture, and would step out. Another personality trait that is much different here than in the US is that you don't talk to strangers really. I know that in the US you smile at everyone on the street and you wave, and when even just a random person is walking by with their dog, you're like, oh hi, and you can say like, oh your dog's so cute. But
yeah, northern states are very well, the southern states are very well known, but especially Canadians, they're very well known for that as well. So I'm not surprised. Maybe Montana, that's very known. Like, hey, how you doing? Hey, they're very greedy and hello, how you doing kind of people.
Here it's much more uncommon to do that, especially on the bus, I noticed. So in public transport in the US, the very few public transport systems that we have, you can start up a conversation with someone next to you, or maybe on an airplane you could also start up a conversation. But here on the bus, you don't really talk to people next to you if you don't know them. That would just definitely be very strange. And then the personality trait that I've noticed that's different here, or I guess social aspect, is that Germans are much more honest and upfront with things. For example, I have a friend and we're sitting next to each other in German class, or maybe I think it was geography, and we're writing and taking notes, and I'm writing my notes, and I have like a calligraphy pen for the header, and it looks really good, and then the rest of my notes just look super bad. I just take them with pencil, and he looked over at me and he said, "Oh, your calligraphy at the top is really good, but your handwriting is so bad." I was like, "Thank you." But it's funny, it's just very different. Another example was someone came up to me, and one of my friends, of course, and he was just like, "Oh, I don't like your jeans." I was like, "Thank you, I guess." I like them, so I'm gonna wear them.
Yeah, we need a little bit more of that here in the United States. Be more honest with a lot of these people, man. People running around like they think that they know everything. We have to be more honest.
But it's very different than in the U.S. People
Well,
probably would
public
not
shaming is very big in Germany, so I'm assuming that's why they're very honest.
say that to you is upfront, but I actually really like the honesty here because it's less superficial and people are just so upfront about things. I really wish that it was like that in the US sometimes. Another example that I remembered of like German honesty is I was having a conversation with a friend, and you know when you can tell that someone's like looking and analyzing your face, and then like mid-conversation she stopped and was like, "You need to do your eyebrows." And I was like, "Yeah, I know," because I had just looked in the mirror that morning and like thought to myself, I really need to do my eyebrows. But this honesty, it may sound rude when you're saying it like out of context, but it's not rude in the moment, and it's just, you know that they care about you and that they trust the relationship that you have, and they're willing to tell you the truth and try to be honest and be a good friend or person. Thank you so much for watching my video
Hey,
today.
good video, man.
If there's anything that you think I said wrong or misrepresented.
No, good job. I'm gonna leave the link in the description down below. That way you guys can show some support. You know what? I found her more honest about these culture shocks stuff. I think it might be because she's a little younger in that aspect. She's a little bit naive, so she can be more honest about these things. But her experience is very, very well-rounded. I like that. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that you guys are very Germans? Do you guys are very honest, or you guys are not honest? And if you see her, would you tell her that she need to do her eyebrows? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like always, I'll see you in the next one.